Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, it looks like my internet may be kind of spotty. I keep getting it freezing up and then starting and freezing up and starting. I hope you all are having a great day. We had a new little intro there. Oh, I hope that you saw that. We are working on the intro. You see, we've got a new background now. We've got a new little story time Santa background that I'll be starting to use. There's a couple of things that we need to kind of tweak on it, but this is just to give you guys a preview of where we're headed. We're creating some new assets for the channel, and we'll start using some new 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 backgrounds, new introductions, and I've got this little socials thing that I can run. You guys, please make sure that you like, you're subscribed, you're doing all the YouTube things. And if you are watching this on the simulcast over on Facebook, the Melon does not yet feed the chat into my stream chat here that I can see. So if you would like to interact with us directly in YouTube, please join us over on the YouTube side, and you can join us there as well. So look, there's all kinds of things. Yes, we have the clip button now. We've got a new intro. We've got all kinds of stuff going on, and we'll have a new intro song, new little intro video coming up today. Here in just a moment, we're going to open up the live stream for our members only. I'll be sending out the link for everybody to the Melon app, and if you want to come in and join us for the discussion today, you can use that link to come in, and I'll be putting that link into the into the Discord in the members only section. So make sure you have your. Oh, Matt, the new song is super exciting for me. I know I've got a lot of folks who love that intro song, but I've got a new song that I'm super excited about. So if you guys really hate the new song, which I don't think you will, if you hate it, then we'll switch back. I do have the copyright to use that in my videos, so we'll be doing that. Is the background different? Yes, it is. Oh, Santa's got his comfy chair here just to sit back, have a little fireside discussion, story time Santa scene here. We've got another one on here as well. I'll be showing you shortly. There's also I was mentioning I'll post the Melon link so you guys can join us. I'll post it in the members only section of Discord. I'll also post it for members only in YouTube if you don't have the Discord thing going on. And I will post it for our Melon subscribers as well. Barry asked, did you watch the Miss Marvel trailer? I did see that this morning, Barry. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. As my good friend Meg likes to say, she's Star Wars Meg. She's not Marvel Meg, and she's not she's not Lord of the Rings Meg. She's Star Wars Meg. I did watch it. I do watch a lot of Marvel and other content, but that I don't. I kind of want to keep on topic for today. Talk about some Star Wars topics. I'm happy to talk about that Miss Marvel thing at some point. And you guys see Meg in the chat said, "Boo to Marvel." My friend Wu Tang Wells here. Russell is the magic behind these backgrounds and behind the intro. That intro song, that intro that we've been using for over a year, has been that's Russell's work. That's Wu Tang Wells. That's his work that you see there, and we are so thankful for that. This background and the changes that he's making to this. There's some things he's tweaking for this background, for our Storytime Santa background. He's tweaking here, and then we do have another background that Russell's created for us. Let me show you guys what we're working on here. Let me bring it up and switch over. We've got, of course, this is the Storytime Santa. And if I want to switch over, I could switch over to uh, Santa's workshop right there. Boom. Now this is Santa's workshop. And you'll see it changed up a little bit. We've got some toys in the background there. You've got the workbench behind me right over here. And the snow's falling in the window. I love this background. Again, Russell's making some changes to this. And just wanted to give you guys some preview. So, what do you want for today? What do you like? Maybe I should put this as a poll. Let me open up the YouTube machine. Let me open up the YouTube machine. Go into the studio here, and I will create a poll and ask which of these new backgrounds do you guys like? Vanessa, hello there. We're gonna we're gonna be going here. Let me just a second. And I see your question there, live. I see your question. Just a second. Go into control room. Here we go. I need to Star Wars politics. I see your question. Let me create a poll for today for today's live stream. We want to put story time or workshop. And so we'll put story time as one option and workshop as the other. And then there we go. Ask. There you go. So this is the workshop background. Again, just so you can make the difference. Workshop background, story time background. Workshop, story time. So there you go. That's the two backgrounds. Meg, more like Santa's sweatshop. No, we call it the workshop. Meg. And Star Wars politics did ask a good question. How much did it cost you? Well, that's a hard question to answer because I'm working with Russell. We have an arrangement here. Let me just give you some general concepts. We have several layers of video and assets here that we're using. The layers and the assets themselves are not all that expensive. They're somewhere around $15, give or take, each. And in here, you maybe see 3 or 4, maybe 5 of those. So, less than $100. But the magic is in getting all those things layered, getting them to work and to integrate together. And I don't have the skills for that. Russell, however, that he is quite good at it. My good friend Russell is very good at it, and he is doing this for me. The total value that I have on the two, so this background's just under 100. The other one, I would say the same thing. It's just under 100 altogether, so less than 200 in the two. The cost, the value that Russell's adding. We have an agreed price on that, and I don't want to go into that here. If you have the skills to do them yourselves, you could do it for around $100. You can create the assets that you're allowed to use without having to worry about copyright. So just want to cover that. So looks like you guys are 70%. 70% are saying story time. So we'll stay with the story time background here, and that'll be today's video. So I've got to close down some windows. Oh, I should have closed the poll. The poll's still open, but so there you have it. I should have changed that up. Let me get caught up with the chat. We need Santa NFT. Oh no! Oh my goodness! And I've seen where people want to do the Santa bits or the Santa coin. We'll think about that later. I do use Streamlabs, and that is a feature in Streamlabs. And so I see Jason Ward, my good friend from MakingStarWars.net, is in the here waiting to come on, and we've got a lot of articles to cover. And I've got another good friend of mine today. I told you we had some surprises for you all. Not only do you get the new background, not only are we going to talk a lot about fantastic Star Wars, but we get a brand new character on this show. Somebody who's never been here before. I'm only kidding. We have Force Ghost Meg. You know, we've had Cowboy Meg on. We've had Marshall Meg on. We've had various iterations of Star Wars Meg visit the show. Today, for the first time ever, Force Ghost Meg. Hello!
From a certain point of view.
That's right.
I'm just going to be saying Force Ghost stuff the whole stream. Oh, look, Jason's fingering himself.
Jason, oh my goodness. Is Santa going to dye his beard for St. Patrick's Day? That would be funny, wouldn't it? No, that's not the plan. Look, I've got my Star Wars Santa merch, and I've got some tea in there. I've got more tea in my Mega Mug. The Mega Mug has a lot more tea in it, but we'll do that. And I think a good article to start off with, since we do have Jason here, and since we do have Meg, who is maybe the world's most premier Jawa fan, second to Pelimoto, of course. You know, Peli has a certain relationship with Jawas that we you know.
I never dated a Jawa, so she's got that experience more than me.
That's
I mean, debatable if we're talking about the fur beneath, but no, I'm joking.
Well, I mean, we do have a new Jawa that's being introduced as a character, and this new Jawa is a female Jawa, Meg. You know,
it could be me.
I'm saying your girlfriend may have, you know, competition.
Maybe.
You're all you check out the Jawa. You're like, hey, bright eyes, what are you looking at?
Very good. And so this is from MakingStarWars.net. Our good friend Jason Ward, right here. This was from yesterday, and you talked about it on your show. When we were visiting, you said you had a big scoop that you were going to drop. It was a fun one, and this is the one you dropped right after the show yesterday. We have a Jawa that's going to be featured in the in the show in Kenobi, and this Jawa interacts with Obi-Wan on a somewhat regular basis. Yeah.
You get the impression that there is like some kind of ongoing rapport between Kenobi and this Jawa. I think its name is Teekah. That's someone who was on set said, I think they called her Teekah. So,
Chicken Teekah
Tikka Marsala.
Yes.
So Teekah, and she's a little sassy, right?
Yeah, the way that the story goes is that it as one source said, she's continually steals Kenobi's stuff and sells it back to him. So it's
Meg. It is.
She like steals your Mega Mug and then sells it back to you.
Yeah, no. Very funny. Hey, Mark, I did get your email. I'll be calling you hopefully today or tomorrow. I've got a meeting this afternoon for work, but outside of that, then I should be able to give you a call. And as you guys know, we've got remodeling going on here. They're installing cabinets in our kitchen today. Super, super exciting. So we've got Teekah, who steals Kenobi's stuff, sells it back to him, and so they've got a little thing going, and not a little thing like Pelimoto, but a
no,
thing.
The opposite. but you do. I did kind of get the impression. I didn't want to oversell it, but I did get the impression that, like, in a way, Kenobi kind of puts up with it a little bit, because it's like one of the only bits of interaction he can have that isn't compromising him.
Wait, so how is it not like Pelimoto then? Because it could be like, when in Rome. Kenobi's
When
horny. He's not been around a female humans in a long time, so it's like the Jawa's like, I'm sure you find me attractive, and he's like, I will do what I must. And then he gets out his lightsaber.
I mean, I can't promise you that she doesn't wear that one bikini that the wolf lady or whatever, that dog person, whatever it was from Book of Boba Fett. I can't promise that she doesn't wear that. But at the same time, I don't have sources on it at the moment, Meg, unfortunately. But yeah, so you kind of get the impression that he's like, I think it could work two ways depending on how it's edited in. And one way is that you have where he's putting up with it because he just wants the interaction, and then the other way is that he's sort of grown. Because remember in Phantom Menace, he has like no patience for Jar Jar or any creatures that aren't acting like they're from Coruscant or civilized or whatever. He's kind of a snob, and he seems to have dropped all pretense on that front.
So, she could tell him, your Republic credits aren't good here. You know what I want.
So, dietaries, right, baby? You want some dietaries? Yeah. Well, I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun kind of running gag in there. But there is a pertinent there's sort of a good story element in it as well. It's not just there for comedic relief. There's a certain thing that happens that is sort of really cool, and it has to do with that T-16 that Luke uses, right?
Yeah, I'm getting the impression that this scene was added in reshoots, in the final reshoots for the season, because originally the way that I heard it was that Luke goes to that market at Anchorhead, and like they're like looking through stuff, and then Kenobi gets the idea that he wants it then as he's like spying, spying on him. I mean, watching him, whatever, guarding him, however you want to look at it. And then, but what I'm hearing now is in the final version of the story, that's not there anymore. And Teekah brings she steals the ship from some other shop or something like that. She jacked it from somewhere and she's selling, and he just like buys it. And then once he has it, he's like, well, I guess I could go give this to Luke. I think the kid might like it. He was thinking that in his head. And then he sneaks over to the farm and he leaves it at the Lars homestead for Luke to find. But
I've got a question, Jason.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but like based on a lot of these, scoops and things, do we know at which point Obi-Wan gets a hut?
No, I still don't know. I don't know if he gets his little dwelling at the end of the show, or because from the best of my understanding, that the Qui-Gon scene that we talked about is in the cave. On the final episode. So I'm thinking that like we don't. I'm thinking that we don't see it, but I also wouldn't, I wouldn't die on I wouldn't say it doesn't happen, but I haven't had any indications that they remade that set. I haven't had anybody gushing about, dude, I was in Obi-Wan's house. Can you believe it? Like that hasn't happened yet, which usually that kind of stuff happens. Like with Darth Vader, that kind of stuff happened. And I got a feeling that that place where Luke turns on the lightsaber for the first time, I think they would be crazy about it. Sources, that is, people from Manhattan Beach, and I didn't hear any of that. So I don't think he gets that house yet. That's my, at this moment, I don't believe so.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that response.
Of course. Yeah.
They're probably going to fill it in the comics because they're releasing a Kenobi comic series. They might try to answer some questions in there.
Right. Yeah. Qui-Gon's like, dude, so we can't bring Teekah's back to this crap hole. What are we going to do? He's like, come on, man. And right. so he's like, dude, you need to start renting or something.
Well, it's something Star Wars Fits put in the chat as well, that he could get the hut in season 2. It's something that people have speculated. Will there be a season 2? What would season 2's content be about? You still have a lot of time between this season of Kenobi, or this limited series of Kenobi, and A New Hope. So things like the hut and other things that could happen would be in there. But I think it's it's important to just say that there needs to be a reason for the story more than he got his hut. That's not a compelling story. Right?
Yeah, it would be kind of weird if he like comes back and then like Qui-Gon's there and he has like a house now. So I guess that would be kind of like a big jump, in a way anyway. But let me ask you about this. Do you think they're going to do a season 2 like just based off of what we know? Do you expect there to be one? I'm sure Kenobi could end up in other things down the road, but do you think they'll do like Kenobi rides again?
I'm going to say no, or at least I hope not. I kind of want it to be a limited series and then for them to leave the rest up to our imagination. And obviously we have Star Wars Rebels, which kind of closes the Maul plot thread. But they might do a spin-off. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like an Inquisitor spin-off series. What do you think, Santa?
I agree with you, Meg. Subscriber counts, viewership, revenue determines a lot of things, right? So obviously, should this series execute really well and satisfy fans in a major way, they would be interested in continuing the story. Does that mean that would be continued in Kenobi 2, or would it be continued in a different show that has tie-ins, much like Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett? They have tie-ins, right? So there could be a Kenobi, and then we could end up with another show that he shows up in, for example, much like Andor or something else, right? Like he could show up. That's my thought. I
think that's a good possibility.
Yeah, you run the risk of a lot of things happening if you just. But I'm not excluding it either. I think it's absolutely possible they would, but I just don't. I don't see that. So right. X-Wing. Should we do more Kenobi? Money. Yeah, like roll it again. Yeah. Right. So there's another article that your friend Bespin Bulletin ran, Jason, and Meg covered it this morning, and it's getting a lot of traction. This topic is getting tons of traction in the Star Wars trades, everything. Everybody's covering it. They're talking about over and over and over again. It's this: Darth Maul was the original main antagonist of Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? So our friends over at we lost Jason.
He'll come back as a Force ghost.
Yeah, he'll be blue. He'll be a proper Force ghost. You can't just put Force ghost in your title and then not be blue. Like
exactly. Is this the Pablo Hidalgo comment?
This is, it is. So our friends over at Bespin Bulletin, who have visited us in the chat here, it's Jason's friend actually, but Bespin Bulletin, they reported they just tried to clarify this story, right? They've been trying to clarify the story that Darth Maul was never really the original main antagonist of the show. And I think what cropped the story up to begin with, of course, is what Hollywood Reporter ran a story that our friend Ray Park told him that he was going to be Maul. And then everybody starts saying, no. And that's the short of it. Pablo Hidalgo's said, no, he was never the main antagonist.
I remember this being like a really early fan casting thing. I did a theory on it. Star Wars Theory did a theory on it. It was like something we all kind of hoped would be in the series. But from what Jason said and all of this stuff coming out after the Hollywood Reporter article, it doesn't sound like Maul was ever in it. And the biggest giveaway, and this is what I was talking to Jason about, is Vader was, they're saying that Vader was shoehorned in at the last minute when he was always going to be the antagonist.
Yeah, that's yesterday on my show. This came out like while I was live, and I was reading it for the first time during the show, and I'm just like, what? The whole, what? And then as you get down to the middle of the Hollywood Reporter article, it's like a source at Lucasfilm denies all of this. And it's like, yeah. And because like, I'll be honest, like back in 2019, while I'm at the end of the Rise of Skywalker scooping, I'm seeing early Kenobi stuff from back then. And Darth Vader is always in it. He's always like, development of Vader is always a part of this story. So it's very, very strange. I was really surprised to like see that come up this way. And it's like, and we know that it like, I know I said it on my show, the earlier versions of the story from like the 2019 times, I was told that it was 3 to 6 years after Revenge of the Sith. So you even have so it's even further away from Star Wars Rebels. It just doesn't leave any time. I mean, there's a lot of time, I guess, but there's like, what are you going to do with him? You can't kill him. He can't, like, Maul. Why is Maul even there? Like it just does not compute. You just can't do anything with it.
What I've been trying to work through, and Astromech Jeremy, we'll get to your question in just 1 second. I think it's really good, but could Ray Park just, first of all, he's self-promoting for sure, but also, could he have been just a cameo character that came across? Never. So this says he was never the original main antagonist. Then we know that Vader, from the very first scripts on, like you just said, right? He's always been the main antagonist. So is there maybe a morsel of truth that Darth Maul was going to cross paths with Vader at some point or something like that? He would be in an episode and gone, and not the main antagonist, but a cameo character.
I personally don't think that would have been a good idea, because if you put Maul into Kenobi the same way he appeared in Solo, well, first of all, I think Maul deserves his own space, and you always risk, going through the hurdles of making sure he's not the main focus, but then do you do his character enough justice? And then it becomes like a whole thing. I think it's best for them to avoid him in this series and then do what Star Wars Newsnet claimed, which was that there's going to be some kind of Crimson Dawn animated thing that's going to be a spin-off of the Clone Wars.
Yep, Ducky is on it there. Yeah, exactly that.
Well, the other thing, I mean, just to completely look at the quality of the report itself, it basically says they were going to have Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker have this adventure, and then it was decided it was too close to the Mandalorian. So then they go and write it out and change it to Leia. That's the same as the Mandalorian. They just don't know about Leia, so their whole article doesn't hold water. That's the thing. None of it holds any water. I think they got a bad source and across the board on this one.
Jason, I have another question about Kenobi. So, recently you did a stream about the characters who are not in this series but should be. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that in spite of all of the rumors of Cody, we're not going to get him.
Yeah.
Was there ever in these initial scripts a Cody connection?
I don't know about in the scripting stuff, but I do know in the concept art stuff there was Cody. There was like, yeah, there was, or at least a clone, I think, was Cody, like a yellow with the yellow markings and stuff. And then so I would probably say, yeah, it does seem like that's the case, but I don't know 100%, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there was the Fitz up here, Star Wars Fitz, brought up the point of Maul being in the original sequel trilogy George planned on doing. We did a multi-week bit on George's original sequel treatments, and Maul was at one point in George's outlines, but we know that he also had Maul killed. Well, he was around when Maul was killed in Rebels, and that wouldn't have been able to bring him back, a third time. I think that Maul was taken off the plate sometime before that, but before George would have made the sequels, because Rebels was already in the pipeline. So I don't know about that.
Was that like 2016 that Maul died in Rebels, or was it after that? I can't remember
exactly. Meg, do you know?
Twin Sons is season 3, isn't it?
I think so.
That would be 2017,
2017?
2017. Let me have a look.
Yeah, because we could also, I mean, just for what it's worth, look at when that was releasing.
2017 March.
So 2017. That's not too long after development on this start. They would had to have decided, oh, who cares about that the day after it came, you know what I mean? Like right after that came out. That doesn't seem right.
I kind of got the same impression with when people were saying Omega was going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. It's the same kind of timing between the Book of the Bad Batch releasing and Book of Boba Fett going into production. It was so close together. Yeah. I just knew from the outset that it was very unlikely we'd see her.
Yeah, it would have to be like such a late game addition, and yeah, it doesn't really add up because like that's one of the things it's really weird because like fans tend to go with like this like really hard drama, like Filoni doesn't want anything in the Filoni verse. That Filoni, you know, they come up with this logic, and at the same time, the true part of it is when somebody's working on a project and they're deep into it, they don't want your stuff coming in and messing up their whole plan, like and at late game, so they just don't let it happen. It's not until everything sits that it starts to like talk to each other and starts to intersect.
Yeah. So there's again, unless you were there in the planning meetings, in animation,
I was.
Yeah. No, animation isn't something that they're changing the week before the episode airs. Right? Yeah. It's not something they're finishing episodes as episodes are airing. Like the whole season is in the can before episode 1 comes out of an animated series. So, but a lot of times we'll see, let's say when like the Bad Batch was coming out, there'll be some fan reaction to an episode, and then like 2 or 3 episodes later, something else happens, and it comes across as if they were making changes just to placate the fans from the previous episode, and that's not what's going on. That's not what's happening. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing reviews of like the Bad Batch season 1, and whenever, you know, there was like a consensus in the fandom of an episode people didn't like, and the next week's was better, I legitimately heard people say, oh, see, they made it better this week because we complained last week. It's like, no, they didn't make it in 6 days.
Right. So real quick, because I see this is in that same Bestman Bulletin has this up as well. Damon Lindelof. Rumored to be working on a Star Wars project. Now there is this story is paper thin. There's nothing really of any meat to it. It's just like it's rumored. Somebody said it, so we're reporting it. Of course, he worked with J.J. Abrams on Lost. He worked at the series finale of Lost. He's worked on The Watchmen, which was really popular. Some other things, and in an old interview from like 2 years ago, he said maybe he would come in like 10 years down the road after people kind of get over whatever the current controversy is. But what do you think? Are there any legs to this? Any idea when? Is this project a movie? Is it a Disney Plus series? Is it coming soon, or maybe never?
We get these kind of articles every 2 months. There was, you know, the Kevin Feige, Michael Waldron, Mike Flanagan. We've heard all of these rumors. I'll leave it to Jason though, because he would know better.
Well, back in the day, I do know that they were speaking to him about doing something, and then I had heard that he was one of the people who they had talked to, but for the record, they talk to everyone. They don't just like, it's not like they just like call one guy. It's funny, there was one story like that with I think it was Gareth Edwards from Rogue One, where he's like, yeah, that was the only guy they talked to, and then I had the job. It's amazing. But that's not usually how this goes. You know, usually they're talking to like one time I had a list of like 25 people who were meeting with Lucasfilm about pitches. And I was like, I could run this, but I have if I pick who I want it to be, I'm going to have like 1 out of 25 chance of being right. And then, but anyways, Lindelof did come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm probably going to be writing one." Years ago. After that, he said, "Yeah, I'm probably." So like, there's been discussions with him documented. I mean, I didn't get to read the original article because it was behind a paywall. But it's like, if they did the research, they could find him saying, "Yeah, I think I'm doing one," like years ago. Like, and so it's completely realistic that it would happen. But also, like, one of the things about it that we don't know was like number one, it just says a project. So is it a film? Is it a series? There's all these like different elements that you would likely have if you actually had that information sometimes, or maybe they just don't know. Maybe it's a spec script and they're just like, there's so many like variables in it. And sometimes they'll go and they'll be like, yeah, write us a draft. And then they will never use that draft. They just like, let's just see what it is. And they've probably had 20 scripts turned in for movies from people who they've paid 30, 40 grand at least to write, probably more than that for somebody like Lindelof, but that they're never going to use. And we're never going to hear about them. And we're never going to know what was in them. And it's like they don't only develop what's coming out. There's like all kinds of let's just do that. Let's move forward with the idea and see what you do.
Yeah, it sort of brings up this whole idea of like, how is Star Wars going to proceed cinematically? And I was going to ask you, what is the situation with Rogue Squadron? Like, what is the truth? Is it still coming next year? Is it still filming on time?
It's a huge, right now it's a huge mystery, and it's been more confusing than it should be because Disney has this new studio over in the UK. And with that new studio, things like, it's like, are they filming it at Pinewood and this new studio? Pinewood sources are like, we're kind of in the dark on this. And then it seemed like Acolyte was going to take over for the Rogue Squadron space, but there hasn't been any movement. And so it's really, I think Acolyte I don't think it's bad news. I just think it may not be making its like initial start date, and it's going to probably have a different start date. It's kind of what I'm theorizing at this point. And
just to kind of support that, if the investor meeting that happened last week or week before, whatever, is any indication, where they only mentioned the two shows, it may be that they are spacing things out further, and so it may not be Acolyte's fault, so to speak. It may just be they're like, okay, we're going to just slow things down, move things out further, pace these things a little differently. Who knows?
Yeah. It totally could be. But right now, if I had to bet, I would not bet on Rogue Squadron coming out in 2023. I would bet against it. Right now, every indication is that's not happening.
Just get through a couple more topics. Grant Feeley is now listed in IMDb, and we kind of knew that, but Grant Feeley is Luke Skywalker. They have him listed one episode.
That is inaccurate.
Yeah.
I think they had Ewan McGregor listed as one episode when the Kenobi series started on IMDb when they first posted it.
Yeah. Some of these are quite funny. I mean, Indira Varma 1, Moisture Farmer 2, Prisoner 2. But I think it skipped over one here. But O'Shea Jackson, they've got him in 6. Maya in all 6. Benny in all 6. The fifth brother in all 6. We've got Kumail, the robot. No, only kidding.
He's not a robot. He's not a robot. Santa. He's not a robot.
Stop it. Stop.
I'm gonna do a little article this week, and I won't put like how many. I don't know how many episodes everybody's in, but I'll put some stuff about Varma's character, about Nanjiani's character, and I'll clear up a couple of, and O'Shea Jackson. I'll clear up some of that stuff.
So they've got him in 6. Reva in all 6. Baru Lars in all 6. Simone Kessel. So these aren't right. I don't think Baru's in all 6. Right, there's a pretty strong. Simone Kessel. There's some speculation about who she might be playing. They're not listing it here.
Yeah, what do you? I mean, because I don't think the original actress who played Bria is back. So, do you think it could be Simone as Bria?
I don't think so.
No.
I personally have always seen her as like the 7th sister.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could be her. But I think it could be Simone. Simone Kessel. Simone Kessel. There's some speculation about who she might be playing. They're not listing it here. Yeah, what do you? I mean, because I don't think the original actress who played Bria is back. So do you think it could be Simone as Bria?
No.
I personally have always seen her as like the 7th sister. If there are more Inquisitors, not too sure. She would be excellent as the Seventh Sister. I've seen some artwork, but I can't really see her as Brer Organa.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah,
she could very well be.
I mean, it's she. She's in a few episodes, and Bria is, and but maybe they're just holding back who that cast member is for secrecy reasons. So,
yeah. So and we do have some of these are named, of course, Grand Inquisitor, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, Owen. We know those. We don't know Simone Kessel. I like Meg, where Meg's head is on this is the Seventh Sister. But I honestly, it's hard to tell. She could be a Twi'lek for all we know, right?
Well, you know what's going on here, guys. I think if you have 6 episodes, it's because you were in the initial cast list of the show being 6 episodes, and that's why they just threw up the 6 episode number onto all of these people. Right. And then the people, oh no, I guess I'm wrong because Indira Varma has 1 episode listed.
Yeah, am I right in saying that Vader's only in half the series?
Yeah, he's only in like half the series.
Right, and they've got him listed at all 6 as well. So I just don't think you can read too much into this IMDb thing.
No, you can't.
Just there it is.
It's like I got Owen in the first and the last episode right now, so I don't even have him. Yeah.
I want to go to this Bad Batch bit, and Meg covered this quite well, and it's the Kiner brothers talking about Omega is going to be a bit older. She's going to have a little bit different look to her. And it's going to take place sometime after season 1. So some time has passed for her to have grown older and have a different kind of look. But there's not a whole lot of information in there except that they've been working on that score. But there was talk of, out of this, there was anything you want to talk specifically about Bad Batch season 2 before I talk about the animated show, Meg?
I'm good with you going straight on, but I think the point on Omega being older and having a different look is really interesting.
It's fascinating. I'm very excited for it. I'm super excited for Bad Batch season 2, and when that's coming out right now is a mystery to all of us as well. We don't know, but hopefully sooner than later.
What if it already came out? Think about it. That'd be weird, right?
But we got this good question from Astromech Jeremy, who is on our Discord servers. And Astromech asked about the new animated series. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd bring this on, first of all, because he's a great guy, and he's on our Discord quite frequently and in our chat here quite frequently. But he says, I'm curious what fans' thoughts are about the possibility of the new animated series being centered around Luke's post where we last saw him Book of Boba Fett. So after Empire Strike or Return of the Jedi, after the Book of Boba Fett, where he started his training academy, that's where he's talking about. He says, personally, I think it might be smart, the most careful way of continuing the thread in the story, and without having to deal with live action casting. Of course, voice actors need to consider, so on and so forth. But it says deep fake versus recasting drama could be completely avoided. There's infinitely more possibilities for action and a kinder budget than a deep fake Luke and Han and Leia, etc. He says, I, for one, would be a big fan of Luke Skywalker Center animated series. Just curious what other fans thought would be on this. So, first of all, just for me, I think it would be brilliant. I've been in favor of a post Return of Jedi based animated series based on the big 3, right? Luke, Leia, Han, right? I've been in favor of seeing an animated series in that space. And I think it'd be great. What are your thoughts, A, about the animated series that the Kiner brothers listed, and B, this idea?
Meg?
I would love the idea of like picking up from the Book of Boba Fett. I'm pretty sure that's not what they're doing. I don't think that's what the animated show is going to be. It's either going to be High Republic, Old Republic, or maybe even that mysterious Clone Wars spin-off with Matt Lanter as Anakin.
Yeah, it could be Tales of the Jedi, right? I'm trying to put Tales of the Jedi on something every single time I hear something like, is it Tales of the Jedi? What's Tales of the Jedi? What's Tales of the Jedi doing right now? Tales of the Jedi, is it alive? Is it okay? You know? But yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, it sounds like they're like it's important if it has like an actual orchestral score to it. That says something about the cinematic quality of it, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. But when it comes to like the Luke Skywalker kind of stuff, on one hand, I would love like for my kids to have a Luke Skywalker TV show, for instance, like a cartoon, because I always wanted that as a kid, and I just know that like it would really connect. On the other hand, it would tie their hands even further when in dealing with story opportunities and live action screening for films and things like that. And so I almost want Luke, Leia, and Han to stick to the live action medium and not have too many of those opportunities shut down in the future because a cartoon series decided to have him, do this on Maz Kanata's castle or something, and now we can never do that again, or we can never go there or something. So it's kind of complicated between getting what you want and what Star Wars needs in the big picture, I think. So I'm a big Debbie Downer. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. I just sent out the link for folks to join us. I promised members a live stream. So if either of you need to dip out, that's fine. But I would love it if you can stay. And sure. Jason, you kind of teased us in Discord, Meg, myself, and Mark, that you have another scoop you're dropping today. Is that
it's out? It's out.
It's out.
I have to check the website.
So I'm going to go check the website right now. And do you want to give us the lowdown? The deets?
Yeah. So
as my kids would love me to say, can you drop the deets on us?
Well, Bestman Bulletin, it's the deets. It's lit. Yeah. So Bestman Bulletin dropped a story yesterday about these cave sets and stuff like that were being made for the Mandalorian season 3. And I have heard a lot about the filming in the last couple of months. And right now in Mandalorian, they're doing reshoots right now. And it's all for the season finale of the show. So these are kind of big in a way. And Bestman said, around the time I was told the scenes being filmed, which feature a large mountain with snow on the top of it, and in the background, that Din, the armor, and Paz Vizsla were around for those scenes. So what I heard about being filmed just this past couple of weeks was Din, Grogu in his IG-11 mech suit, the armor and her allies, Paz Vizsla, Death Watch, Bo-Katan and her allies, and a few others on a frozen body of water. That's like a large lake or ocean. And they're like traveling through this, and I think they're fighting Imperials too, but I could not confirm that 100%. And basically they end up meeting up with these with more Mandos before they go into these caves. And we're gonna see all of the clans of Mandalore reunited this season.
So do you think we could see Sabine Wren before we see her in Ahsoka?
I don't think so. I'm not saying so. Yeah, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but no one has mentioned Sabine Wren to me in any of this. So it's kind of out there. There is they shot these scenes with a quote old crusty light-skinned man and an old crusty dark-skinned man who are the leaders of oppositional Mandalorian forces, and these two reluctantly come together. I'm wondering if these are some people from the Star Wars Rebels, but I don't know. And Bo-Katan is a third faction who comes together with them, and she leads the Death Watch clan. There's some friction there, by the way, I think, but they all come together. And and there were like 15 or so little kid Mandos. So even the children of Mandalore are armored up and fighting. Grogu's in IG-11, and so you're gonna have a little kid version of things going down. And then there's a purification ceremony, which I am assuming is what was hinted at from the Book of Boba. And they have there's these drums playing, like drummers beating the drums, sort of like what we saw in the that video game trailer, I think.
Star Wars Eclipse,
yeah. They kind of have one of those kind of things going on with that, and they have this giant pool set there, and there's this huge like Olympic torch kind of lighting scene, like one of those big fire, and basically the armorer basically gave Bo-Katan a torch, and she lights the flame, and she holds this flame up, and then all the Mandalorians start clinking their bracers together, their gauntlets together, clunk, and saying "For Mandalore" and getting all crazy.
So do you remember yesterday, Jason, I told you that I'd heard the armor and Bo-Katan are going to be allies, which goes against everything we assumed going into season 3. So this kind of backs it up. That's so cool.
100%. I don't know. I would assume they don't start off as allies, but by the end of it, they definitely do. And then this part right here is just exciting as the bullet point that it is. The mythosaur is in it.
Nice. Now, like a live mythosaur, or it's a Woken.
Yep. It's. I'm guessing it's down there. All I know is that they're filming all kinds of things of that mythosaur chasing people around, and it's, you know what I mean, and making havoc essentially. And but yeah, that's what they're filming is they basically go down. So I don't know what the order of all of this stuff is. You know what I mean? Does the mythosaur happen, and then now they have a new Mandalore, as in the king or the queen?
Yeah.
And then with that we go to the purification ceremony, or do they go to the purification ceremony and then that awakens the monster, and they have to prove themselves to it, and then But I didn't hear anything about Boba Fett being there. I asked about that. Any Boba Fett, but right now the question I have is, does Bo-Katan become Mandalore, or does Din? Because that's where I'm left. That's the question I'm left with this, that I think people should be asking, if they read it. But I don't come out and say it.
Matt
Not a
Risner
the Wokasaur. Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, that's hilarious. Put me on the floor.
The Wokasaur. Yeah.
Right. I saw Trev was talking about Children of the Watch, and being loyal to Death Watch, and Bo leading that, and he was asking a question. What was it about a particular character? I got to go back up to find the comment. I saw him bring it up. Finn Rao.
Yeah. I was wondering, I don't know how old Finn Rao would be at this point. Could he be the old crusty white guy? I don't know.
Baymax. Grogu's going to control the Wokasaur with his mech.
Yeah. Grogu actually, but people don't know, is little Yoda species creatures are actually like viruses, and it infects the mythosaur and becomes it at the end. Yeah.
Or Grogu's one of those whatever Zam Wessel was, those changelings from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, a Claudite.
A Claudite, that's it.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the lobster guards with their claw. No, different kind.
The lobster Claudites. Yeah.
Claudites.
Yeah. No, I hit up more sources down at Manhattan Beach, and I was told lobster guards. So that means the ones from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And so
right.
my working theory is those are elite Praetorian guards in The Last Jedi. Maybe the ones that we saw the helmets for, maybe they're not the elite ones. I don't know.
Well, no.
So what you're saying is it's going to lead to Snoke.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of fans will have to huff a lot of copium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because but what's weird is Palpatine could just probably choke Din and kill him, and doesn't. So I'm kind of wondering if we end up with a story situation where he could just do that, but he needs Grogu because he needs that sweet baby Yoda blood. And he's like, so he has to put up with a traditional fight. I'm curious if for some reason Palpatine is subdued in some way that he has that allows, because he can't kill him. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how do you have a Mandalorian go up against a Palpatine proxy, and it's just cool if it does go that way.
Well, and I want to bring up, because the people are kind of freaking out about the Praetorian Guard. Praetorian Guard, like that red armor, it was in Rebels as well. I mean, we've seen the red armor not connected to the First Order. It's just that this happens after Return of the Jedi, which puts it into Palpatine's
one of the official
plan, and which makes that kind of push towards the First Order. So I'm just want to bring up that, like, every time you see red armor doesn't mean First Order. And so folks this may be a predecessor to the First Order. This may be something leading up to it. So how about we let it play out and folks get the content before they get, too much up in arms.
Well, what if we just get really mad about children's movies from 2017 for the rest of our lives? Right. No, but
people are going to find ways to explain it, even if it is and probably is Snoke. And I really hope Snoke repeats the line from The Last Jedi, "Such spunk."
Yeah. How's it going, Kendall?
So, want to bring Kendall in?
How's it going?
Normies to nerds, you guys should be following Kendall there. Go ahead. You are with us.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because I heard y'all talking about like the time, like a little bit of a time jump with Omega. This might seem like left field, but is there ever any possibility that we get a bit of a time jump with Grogu? Like, is there a certain point where you feel like the baby aspect of Grogu and the cuteness is going to wear off, and we're going to want to see him like grow up? And he takes forever to grow up. You know what I mean? It takes hundreds of years. So just kind of curious to see your guys' thoughts if we would ever.
Well, definitely not in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'll give mine first. I think we got a little bit of a clue there with Luke doing the training bits with Grogu and saying he wasn't so much teaching Grogu as he's helping him remember. And I think more and more as Grogu deals with his PTSD from the whole Order 66 deal, that he will become more and more normal. Like, I think the whole infantile aspect of him not talking is a regressive state. And I think as he deals with the PTSD, he'll come out of the regressive state. We'll see him with full vocabulary, full ability to interact as a youngling. Let's put it that way, right? So as somebody who is, or as what are they in Mandalorian? They're the foundlings, right? So he'll be a foundling, he'll be a youngling, and he'll be fully verbal. And so as far as like a time jump that way, I think we'll go from seeing him in an infantile state to a speaking state within the scope of this Mandoverse era. Meg and Jason?
I sure hope not, because I don't think that's the way they're going to do it. If we do see Grogu older with like his mum's mane, like Yaddle's big ginger mane, then that will probably be in like a future series or movie that involves Rey's new Jedi Order or something. But in the Mandalorian universe, I don't see that happening at this point in the timeline. It takes their species a long time to develop, and Din Djarin would probably be dead by that point.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as Meg, as I was like, it's a pretty good marketing opportunity for sequel trilogy era storytelling, that when they do want to go back to it, when they do re-enter it, for instance, if it was with Rey and Finn's Jedi Order, for instance, or something like that. Oh, and you're going to meet more adult Grogu in it. And people will be like, I want to see what that ends up being. Because a part of me, I mean, with like the story I just put out with what I'm hearing about Mandalorian season 3, I feel like there was some truth to that idea that the Mandalorian is either ending with this season, or part 1 of the original charter for that story is coming to an end. Like back in the day, the very first thing I ever heard was it was about the restoration of Mandalore and this child. Now with this season, it sounds like it's done, like phase 1 is completely done. And I do think that they'll continue to do Mandalorian stories because I think that's some very, very much like, people want that. I don't think they're gonna stop making it, but yeah, but it's sequel trilogy era stuff down the road with Grogu. I mean, they will have to touch it someday.
So Daisy Ridley gave us that fantastic quote this last week where she said, "I'll always be Rey." Whenever she was asked about sequel trilogy kind of content, we know she's up for it. We've heard John Boyega as much say so as well, and I think it wouldn't be too difficult for Lucasfilm to get them on board for a Disney Plus series. The question is when. And so when that happens, would they do a time jump? Get back to Kendall's question. Would they do a time jump with Grogu to include him in that series? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily hoping like we see a time jump like in that story, because I'm with Santa, like right now in the Mandoverse, like I think he is gonna like remember stuff and start talking. But yeah, I just thinking looking ahead, like I want to see like an older Grogu. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of curious how we may see that, because if they're gonna just continue to go chronologically, my man's still gonna be a baby like when 50. Well, he'll be a little kid in like 50 years, if you will. So
I have a question for Jason. How does you've heard what basically Star Wars only heard, which was season 3 of Mando could end this first wave of the show, and he was saying how the show could take on a new identity, a new title, whatever. What would phase 2 entail? Like, what would be the difference? Would it still be called The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day because like is it plural? The Mandalorian, like you know what I mean, like what in terms of a title has like that Jedi vibe to it, like Return of the Jedi. Like what does it mean? One guy, all of them, whatever. But I think they would keep personally think they would keep the branding of the Mandalorian. I think they would just. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is my theory is if it continues on to a season 4, that's actually covertly probably going to be a different series with the same name, because it's a totally different. If we have the restoration of Mandalore now, they're back. Where do you go from there? And I think what you end up with probably is a drama about people who are what is their identity. That's always been the issue with Mandalore since the Clone Wars. Are we part of this republic, or are we a conquering, warring race of beings? And so that might end up being an interesting thing if they end up going and having it where now they have to decide if they're going to start taking over other planets and taking their resources, and their place is pretty jacked up. It looks really bad in the current season. So I have a feeling that they're going to be down to I think they're going to be very prone to evil.
I guess my worry is that it just loses its edge and what made it so appealing. I've always said I wish The Mandalorian ended with season 2, because to me that is just the perfect story arc. But obviously, if, as you were saying once in one of your streams, the concept art for The Mandalorian being like Boba Fett holding Grogu with a group of Mandalorians around him, and if the aim is to restore Mandalore, I see them doing that with one last season. But as you said, going forward, unless they change the cast or it's based around a different Mandalorian, different story, I don't see how they can keep that authenticity.
Yeah.
Well, and Kendall, I'm going to let you go so we can bring in other folks. I've sent out the link as Kendall found it. I sent it out in Discord. I sent it out in Patreon and YouTube. So if you guys want to join, as Kendall just did, you can. And I just saw this come up. Spencer posted this in Discord, in my Discord, and let me share this with you. I think, and as I bring that up, I think what they could do is in The Mandalorian with somebody becoming the Mandalorian, right? And then there's been this big talk of Thrawn being a bit bad. We saw Ahsoka searching for Thrawn. We could end up spinning off from the Ahsoka series and all of this into something Thrawn-centric. Or perhaps what I would love to see, I would absolutely love to see, is something based in the Chiss space. Like, go that way with some series. But let me put this on screen. And this came from Star Wars Stuff, tweeted, Samuel L. Jackson says he's spoken with Bryce Dallas Howard about Mace Windu returning. Oh,
I just died.
Oh, Bryce.
I just died all over again.
No. Now we know what killed Force Ghost Meg. What we Bryce Dallas Howard of Mace Windu. Meg's like, say no more.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So there's a full quote here. It says, here's a quote. There's a huge story, a huge history of people with one hand returning in Star Wars. Right. That's a great quote. But here it is from the direct. Aaron, whoever this mirror, I can't say that name. But I don't know if that's a he or a she. Any clue?
They.
Star Wars is filled with unresolved mysteries, and one of them is Mace Windu's questionable death during Revenge of the Sith. Samuel Jackson portrayed the memorable blah, 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 blah. Since then, fans have wondered if the character is really dead or a comeback could happen sometime soon. In 2020, it was rumored that a Mace Windu prequel series was being developed. However, no details emerged. That has led to belief there's still plans. It says the Book of Boba Fett also had Tamura, and we speculated about Mace Windu showing up because Boba Fett would have a bit of a grind there, and they gave us some teases of that, going back to prequel kind of footage and Boba remembering his dad and the helmet, and all of that was in the Book of Boba Fett, right? It got Meg super excited and then left with a nothing burger there, right? But Samuel L. Jackson sat down as a guest on a live sit down with happy, sad, confused Josh Horowitz, during which he talked about the potential. When asked if fans could hold out hope for Mace Windu comeback, Jackson boldly admitted he wants to reprise his role. And Marvel and Star Wars veteran revealed that he told the Mandalorian Boba Fett director Bryce Dallas Howard about his desire to return. He says, definitely, there's a huge history of people one hand returning in Star Wars. The only person I've ever said to about coming back was Bryce Dallas Howard, because I just did a movie with her. She directs episodes of The Mandalorian. So you think you might be able to hook up a brother?
Yeah.
I love that.
Do it.
Like me. She says, I love you. You're amazing. He says, so put me back in there. Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
It's all I've ever wanted Disney Star Wars to do. Just please bring Mace Windu back. Give the prequel fans what we want.
So, Meg, are you going to do a bonus video today, or is this tomorrow? Do we have to wait till tomorrow?
I've made so many videos on Mace Windu potentially returning, and I've ended up with egg on my face. Or something resembling egg on my face.
So
from
you're
excitement,
a little shy. I would think it would be great.
Probably tomorrow.
I think it would be great. So it'll be tomorrow. Got to calm down first. Yeah. Okay. So I love this quote. This is fantastic, and I am all for it. I'm on the bandwagon with Meg.
I'm on the bandwagon with you guys. They should do it. They should have already have done it. What are you doing? Come on.
Exactly.
Mandalorian season 4. Mace Windu becomes a Mandalorian. I'll take it.
They should have done it in the Book of Boba Fett or Book of Boba Fett season 2.
Oh,
you know what? They set it up, and he could have been in there totally.
In 1997, there was, I think it was Cinefastique or Cinema something, some magazine, and it had a blue Boba Fett on the cover, and it said Samuel L. Jackson, because he was being cast in it, and there was a rumor that Samuel L. Jackson was Boba Fett. I'm not even kidding. This was like a real pre-Phantom Menace rumor. They thought he might be Boba Fett without the helmet on, and then we were going to learn later on he was Boba Fett.
1997, that's the year I was born, so it's meant to happen.
I think you started the rumor. I think it was probably you, because it sounded like it was started by a baby.
Oh my goodness! No, I am big time